Hello everyone. It's been a little while, and you guys are probably like, "What have you been doing?" And well, I've been building decks, and I wanted to get a few decks together before I started posting again. And this is I've actually already done a deck tech on this, but I've made a lot of modifications as of recent, and so I just wanted to share those mods with you and talk you through the deck. So anyway, welcome back. This is Sydri Galvanic Genius, and she's a 3 cost, and she's a 2/2. And if you pay a blue, target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost till the end of turn. And then white and black, target artifact creature gains death touch and lifelink until the end of the turn. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that can happen with Sydri. There's a lot of stuff that she can do with these artifacts that are in this deck, and then everything that's on the board as well. So I'm just going to kind of get in the deck, but real quick, I wanted to show you. There is so Sydri was a full size card, the double cards or whatever. And all I did was just take this full-size card and I cut it down, and you can actually see the cut there. I just tried to do a real good job cutting it, and then if you look on the back, I just went ahead and left the rules on the back, so if somebody wanted to see the rules at the table, I could easily show them the rules. So or just hand them the other Sydri cards. So anyway, let's get into the deck, and I'll show you what I did here. All right, so we have 6 basic lands, 2 plains, 2 islands, and 2 swamps. Okay. All right, and here we go. All right, color fixing, command tower, Exotic Orchard. I was liking this better than Reflecting Pool because I figured it was a better chance to hit the colors that I needed earlier on off of my opponents than myself. Glimmer Void. As long as I control an artifact, I can add any color to my mana pool. And then this is just some color fixing here. Color fixing, the check lands here. All right, and Glacial Fortress. All right, and then we have some fetch lands here. March Flats, Polluted Delta, Flooded Strand, Verdant Catacombs here, and Misty Rainforest for my fetches. And then these are fetchable lands here, so Sunken Hollow, Watery Grave, Underground Sea, Hallowed Fountain, Tundra, Godless Shrine, Scrubland. Alright, and utility lands, Vault of the Archangel, probably one of the first lands that I'll go and get, because for 4, it's going to turn everything into Death Touch and Lifelink. Inventor's Fair, I can use it to search for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. Talaria West, get some 0 cost artifacts that are like mana sources, or I can just use it to find a particular land that I need. Academy Ruins, a little recursion. Buried Ruin recursion. Manamo, just a way to untap legendary permanents. Bojuka Bog, Yep, just get a graveyard. If somebody's relying heavily on their graveyard, get it out of there. And then our artifact lands. Vaults of the Whispers, Ancient Den, Seat of the Synod is an artifact land, and Darksteel Citadel. And so it's possible with this deck to turn these into 5/5 creatures. It also helps towards Metalcraft or like that Inventor's Fair. There you go. Alright, so let's get into the creatures. So we got Baleful Strix. I can draw a card, and he's got Flying to Death Touch. Padeem, Consul of Innovation. So there is some card draw down here. We have some pretty high costing artifacts in this deck, so we probably will get some card draw off that. And then artifacts you control have hexproof, so just a little protection there. Alright. And we got Master Transmuter. So I can pay a blue and tap and return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. This deck is really flexible. It always is kind of going. So and then you can get some pretty high costing stuff into play off of stuff like Master Transmuter here. Arcum Dagsson, same idea. So I could turn one of my non-creature artifacts into a creature and then return it to my hand, or sacrifice it, I'm sorry, and then search my library for a non-creature artifact and put it into play. So I can go get those Darksteel Citadels or a Chroma's Memorial that we'll talk about in a little bit. But anyway, Arcum's really good for this deck. Karn is kind of on the same lines as Sydri, so it's not bad having another Sydri in the deck. And Phyrexian Metamorph, I can copy an artifact or a creature. As it enters the battlefield, it becomes a copy of that. That's good. Triskelion, he comes into play with 3 1/1 counters on him. I can remove a 1/1 counter, and he does 1 damage to target creature or player. The nice thing is if he has Death Touch and Lifelink, I can do that and actually kill creatures on the field, and then recur him pretty easily and do it again. Memnarch, steal stuff. Sure, why not? Turn something into an artifact and then steal it. So planeswalkers or whatever. And then I just recently got Spellskite. Spellskite's kind of down in price right now, so if you were thinking about getting one, this is a good time to get one. But I can change the target of target spell or ability to Spellskite. So this actually worked out the other day. I think I stole Rancor. There was another spell that went off that was targeting one of my creatures, and I had it redirect over to Spellskite. So obviously the target has to be legal, but this has been pretty good since I've added it to the deck. Ethersworn Canonist. Each player who has played a non-artifact spell this turn can't play additional non-artifact spells. Pretty much almost all the spells in here are artifact spells, so this is a welcome addition to the deck, and nice control from white. So this is Wurmcoil Engine, and when it dies it creates a 3/3 Death Touch and a 3/3 Lifelink token. And I actually found these really cool tokens online the other day, and I just printed them off on paper, and there they are there. So there's the Death Touch and Lifelink Worm, and I just printed them off on paper, and then I just shoved a land back behind them just to make them sturdy, so they're cool. Doing unique things with your commander decks, people appreciate it, and obviously it gives a little more love yourself. Metalwork Colossus obviously fits perfectly in this deck. He gets X. He costs X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. Most of the artifacts in here are non-creature. And then I can sacrifice 2 artifacts and return him from my graveyard to my hand. So he has good recursion on him well, and he's just a big beat stick, and potentially is a good life gainer if I give him Death Touch and Lifelink. Sharuum is a little bit of recursion. I don't really need to get in this card. A lot of people know this, so it's going to get it right onto the battlefield. This is going to put it back into your hand. It's some more recursion for an artifact. And Hanna ships Navigator, and I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but so this is Therese Nielsen's art for Hanna, and this is recursion, by the way, but this is Therese Nielsen's art for Hanna, and this is Therese Nielsen's art for Sydri. And Sydri is, in real life, that is Therese Nielsen's daughter, modeling for Sydri Galvanic Genius. And so Hanna is supposed to be Therese Nielsen. So I actually put Hanna in here because I wanted mom to be in there with the daughter. Okay. Moving on. Sorry about the side story there. So Mox Opal has Metalcraft, obviously. So that's why some of those artifact lands are in there. The quicker that we can get 3 artifacts on the field, the quicker that we can use our things like Mox Opal. And we have a ton of artifacts. Okay. Getting into our rocks here. So Mana Crypt, or Crypta de Mana in Portuguese. So you got to roll a dice, and depending on whether it comes up in your favor or not, you're going to take 3 points of damage. And then this taps for 2 mana, and it costs 0. Soul Ring, Mana Vault. So you do have to pay to untap it. It taps for 3, but you have to pay to untap it. If you don't, it does 1 damage to you each upkeep if you choose not to untap it. And then Azorius Signet, Dimir Signet, Darksteel Ignat, which also turns into an indestructible 5/5 creature with the right planeswalker or spell, so that's good. And then I put Prototype Portal in here because really, if you can, the ideal is to exile Mox Opal, and then you can just make Mox Opals with your Prototype Portal. Alright, and Dreamstone Hedron. This potentially turns into a 6/6 creature with Sydri's ability. And then you can also get some card draw. It taps for 3 mana. Real flexible card for the deck. Here's some eggs from the modern deck here. So there's a way to recur these over and over. And it's going to get you a little card draw. And it's color fixing if you need it. Expedition Map. Find the land that you need. There's another egg. So you can sacrifice the Spellbomb to exile all cards from target player's graveyard. So get that graveyard player hating life, and then you can play it back to draw a card. And then you got Sunbeam Spellbomb. Either gain life or draw a card. Color fixing, draw a card. And then Salvaging Station. So return target non-creature artifact card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to play. So I could return a rock, like a mana rock, or I could return one of these eggs after I crack it to get more card draw. And then whenever a creature is put into the graveyard from play, you may untap Salvaging Station. So if I really wanted to get crazy, I could turn like Chromatic Star into a creature and then crack it, draw a card, it comes back, you know, and it untaps the Salvaging Station, that whole business. Okay. All right. Here's another. So this is some card draw here. If you would draw a card except the first one you draw each turn, you draw during your draw step, draw 2 cards instead. So nice card draw. And then there's some life gain up here too. You gain twice that much life instead of, you know, with Death Touch and Lifelink. That's good. This guy here, it So basically, enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and then when it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. So you just turn it into a creature and start swinging until you get your second card draw. Skull Clamp, yep. Just clamp some of the smaller creatures to draw cards. Staff of Nin is pretty interesting here. It lets you draw a card, but also if you make it a creature and give it Death Touch and Lifelink, you can kill creatures with it, so it is removal as well. Alright, and then we've got Nev's Disc, so blow up all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. I guess it is kind of dangerous to us, but if a board state is getting overwhelming and you got to get it under control, get it under control. We have plenty of recursion to get our stuff back. Spine of Ishsa, so yeah, this is great. You know, you get to blow up a permanent, and then when it's put into the graveyard, you get to return it to your hand. So you basically blow up a permanent, sacrifice it, and then or swing at people until it dies, and then it goes right back to your hand, and then you get to do it again. And it's a 7/7. Unwinding Clock is going to let us untap all artifacts we control during each other player's untap step. So, like Mana Vault, it'll help untap that. Cranial Plating, just good utility card, and it's got 2 black, and you can instant speed attach it to a creature, so perfect for the deck. Another real flexible card in this deck is Trading Post. Either sacrifice a creature to remove and return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, or you can sacrifice an artifact to draw a card. So either way, it's just value town with these bottom 2 here. All right, and Darksteel Plate also turns into a 3/3 indestructible with Sydri, or makes something else indestructible. Sculpting Steel, just a way to copy artifact in play, and I do have ways of turning other people's stuff into artifacts, and then I can make a copy of it. Thopter Foundry, I guess this would be kind of part of a win con here with Sword of the Meek, if you haven't seen these 2 cards side by side. So basically, you sacrifice Sword of the Meek with your Thopter Foundry. It goes to the graveyard. And then it says whenever a 1/1 creature comes into play, you get to return it. So you sacrifice it, it goes away, you put a 1/1 Thopter into play, it comes back. And then you can just keep doing that and make a lot of tokens. So that would be one win con. Liquidy Metal Coating, this is a way to turn things into artifacts. So if I wanted to steal them with like Memnarch or whatever, this is an easier way to do it. You can do gross things with it too. You could turn a land into an artifact and then use Sydri to kill it, because Sydri cares about the mana cost of it. So yeah, that's kind of mean. Mycosynth Lattice is kind of the same idea, only it's just going to permanently make everything artifacts. Good and bad. Good for us usually, bad for everybody else. Alright, Time Sieve, there's plenty of ways to make tons of artifacts in this deck and be able to take extra turns by sacrificing 5 artifacts. Cauldron of Souls, let's say somebody does a board wipe for artifacts. What you could do is you could turn your artifacts into creatures, and then you could use Cauldron of Souls to give them persist. They all come back with a -1/-1 counter, but then they're just regular artifacts once they come back. So it's it's like regeneration, I guess. Yeah. I found this card kind of cool for this deck. So this is Uggin's Nexus, 5 cost. If a player will begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. If Uggin's Nexus would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, instead exile it and take an extra turn after this one. So basically you put this in, and you can keep a player from having extra turns, and you just start attacking with it. You just keep turning it into a creature and attacking with it. And then as soon as it dies, you get an extra turn. That seems pretty good. This is a Sydri card. It's a newer card. With the lifelink and death touch that Sydri provides, you're going to be able to get over 50 life. If you wanted to, you could do something really mean. As soon as you get to 51, you turn it into a creature and give it death touch and lifelink. And then you pay 50 life and you can kill everybody. So I guess that's a combo. I don't know. I just put this card in this deck. I don't know how thrilled I am about it because I'm not in love with combos, but I like the idea of it being this threat on the board that people see and be scared of. So, Caltrops, you turn this into a creature and give it death touch and lifelink. And if people attack with their creatures, it will kill them. So it's pretty good. Chroma's Memorial, let's say somebody's trying to blow up a Chroma's Memorial. You could turn it into a creature, and then all of a sudden, it has protection from red and black. So red is usually known for artifact removal, and this would definitely stop that. Darksteel Forge is going to make everything indestructible, and it also turns into a 9/9 creature. Aladdin's Lamp is just... it's kind of the reason I built the deck, and it becomes a 10/10 creature, which is pretty amazing. But it does have this ability here. I've never used this ability. I've only searched it up just to turn it into a creature. And then we just got our non-artifact stuff here at the back. So, Demonic Tutor, go search for something. Tezzeret. So his second ability here says, target artifact becomes a 5/5 artifact creature. That is permanent. You can also basically look at the top 5 for an artifact, and the -4 is good too. Target player loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is twice the number of artifacts you control. This is gonna Tezzeret the Seeker. You can untap artifacts. You can search your library for an artifact, and artifacts you control become 5/5 artifact creatures until end of turn. All those abilities are good. Just some exile. I threw in a couple exile cards just in case there's like some real problem cards on the field. So we got Anguish Unmaking and Utter End for that. Toxic Deluge is going to help us take care of indestructible stuff with other players. And removal doesn't really hurt us at all. This is a newer card that I just found. I thought it was pretty creative and good. So choose one or both. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact. And then you can create a token that's a copy of target creature, but it is an artifact as well. So I thought it fit well. Ensoul Artifact, just a card that I loved for the deck. And it basically does Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas's -1 ability. So it turns something into a 5/5 artifact creature. So you have Darksteel Citadel out in play. You put this in play. Now Darksteel Citadel is a 5/5 indestructible creature. And last but not least is Transmute Artifacts. There's a lot of words here, but basically you're sacrificing something in play and you're going to search something up out of your library, and then you have to pay the difference between the two things if the thing you searched up costs more than the thing that you sacrifice. Anyway, that's my deck. Thanks for watching. I've got a deck tech already for next week, so I'm going to do a few of these, and then I'm probably going to take another break. If you guys would like to post videos of your decks on my page, please subscribe and favorite. Send me a message and let me know, and I will get it hooked up. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.